Well, Erin Patterson has been found guilty, and the evidence that we didn't get to see is all coming out, and my mouth has been on the floor. Okay, let's talk about it in today's video.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup at hey.
Now hold on everybody, let's do a quick sofa sidebar now. Keep in mind, ain't no cop, ain't no doctor, ain't no lawyer, ain't no therapist, ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff, okay? Only credentials we got up in here is my sass, and this sofa. Now keep in mind also, I'm just giving my opinions on very public information, so do your own research, come to your own opinions, and drop them off in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you do like what you see here at the Sofa Squad, drop a little like, drop a little comment, drop a little share. It helps the channel out immensely. Now let's get to addition. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. This is a sofa. This is a Paul. My name is Paul if you're new to the channel, and if you're not new to the channel, well, my name's still Paul. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to be going over some of the evidence that came out in the Erin Patterson trial. So if you're unfamiliar with this case, Erin Patterson, this is an Australian case. She was found guilty of poisoning her family members with beef Wellington and death cap mushrooms in the beef Wellington. She killed 3 of them, 1 survived, and yeah, so there's that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a few news clips. We're going to look at a few like CCTV footage. We're going to look at some pictures, all the little things that stuck out to me the most from the evidence. And that's what we'll do. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this first clip we're going to be watching is just a little news clip, that kind of a thing, about, the guilty verdict. And it's going to also talk about one of her friends that was in court. So let's view it and we'll talk about it along the way.
Brett, there is so much happening behind us here. You can see the huge contingent of media that are down here. As we were talking about before, it's not just members of the Australian media, but also documentary filmmakers. It has been remarkable. We're joined here now by our colleague Penelope Lee. She was inside the courtroom when those verdicts were handed down. Penny, talk us through, how did Erin Patterson react when that moment finally happened?
Well, as we came into the courtroom, Erin Patterson was brought into the dock, flanked by 2 security personnel. She spoke with her defence team briefly. She also spoke with a supporter of hers, a female friend who has been here throughout the trial. And as that friend went to sit down, I saw the friend wiping away tears, and Erin Patterson said to her, "See you soon."
Okay, so I'm going to stop real quick. So one thing that's interesting about this, and like talking to Australian viewers and residents and whatnot, I mean, they're like, yeah, this case is almost to me like our Casey Anthony, our Jodi Arias, our O.J. Simpson, like that level of infamy, okay? Just the media frenzy, all the hype around it. I mean, literally, it's crazy. Now, this is kind of sad to say, but like, if I'm trying to sit here and imagine if this exact scenario took place here in the States, if we would blink an eye or just keep going on our business. And it sounds terrible, but you know what I'm saying? We've seen Suitcase Sarah, we've seen this and that, but I think one thing that makes this different, Australia versus here, and again, I don't live there obviously, so correct me if I'm wrong, or definitely give your opinion if you're from there. But to me, what I see is because of like the difference in laws where we have access to like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and watching the trials and whatnot, that has made this one all the more like, obviously the heinousness of it, and then the question of, was it an accident? Was it real? Was it this? Was it that? Now you will see with the evidence we're going to look at today that it becomes very quickly clear this was 100% no accident, right? Absolutely not. She meant to do what she meant to do, and she tried to cover it up, but she was really bad at it. So let's keep going.
Now, that's obviously not what has happened with these particular verdicts being handed down. As the verdicts were handed down, Erin Patterson initially, she just stared straight ahead. Amber, she was blinking a lot. That continued to sort of build as we heard the first verdict, the second, the third, the fourth. And during those later verdicts, her eyes were really fixed on this 12-person jury who have decided her fate. She continued to watch them as they walked out of the room and then just stared straight ahead, blinking, looking at her the whole time. She did look my way and other members of the media, as she sometimes has throughout this trial, really eyeballing some of us. She did that again. I can't say she was crying, but she was certainly blinking quite a lot as happened with a fairly...
Now, one thing that I've learned or observed or whatever is watching Erin and some of the footage that we're going to watch here in a minute, she does have this very, what I would almost say, flat affect. So when she was talking about her staring the jury down, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that kind of evilness of like, I miss them, I love them, they were my family. Like we saw in the news clips and whatnot, or her interviews. Very interesting to me. Also, probably in a separate video, we'll do the doctor interview because this one's already gonna be long enough. But I do think that there is now this like more evil, sinister component to Erin. Granted, I've never been in the same room with her, any of that stuff, but now viewing her with the information we've gathered, my viewpoint in that has changed. So when the reporter's talking about her staring the jury down, I'm like, oh yeah, she was probably imagining in her mind, all of you would be getting beef Wellingtons if I was able to do it.
I suppose neutral expression on her face, downward turned mouth, but she appeared to be breathing quite deeply and trying to sort of keep her emotions in check as this happened.
Another interesting observation, Penny, is that throughout the course of the trial, of course, we've seen Pastor Ian Wilkinson down here almost every single day with his children. Also, a number of members of the Patterson family as well. They attended pretty much every single day of the trial, but no sight of them today. Were there any other families inside that courtroom?
No, there was no family members that I recognised inside the courtroom today. It was very full. There was a big line of media and public waiting to get into this court. Not all of them made it inside. I was one of the lucky ones to be in there, really. There were about 4 homicide detectives in there, including the informant, Stephen Eppingstall, who we've heard from a lot throughout this trial. There was that female friend, the supporter of Erin Patterson, but we did not see any other family members.
We're just Penny.
Okay, now a couple of things on this. Interesting that the family members were not there, but they might have been like, you know what, this is done with, we've done our part. We don't want to be here for the major media frenzy, because you're seeing too, like, look at the calamity going on. So for the family who's just trying to, you know, pass this and whatnot, say both sides or whatever, I'm sure that they wouldn't want to be there. Now I could see wanting to see the guilty verdict or whatever. It has to just be a mixed bag of emotions. Now also the friend that they're talking about, all these cases seem to have that, you know, and one of the things that interests me with true crime and watching the cases unfold is when people do these heinous acts, you know, most of the time these people are still someone's friend, someone's daughter or son, someone's sister, brother, whatever. There's still other things to other people. And often in some of these cases where we've seen where, like, say the child of the perpetrator is like, no, that was dad, like they were completely normal to me. So how surreal is that to see that unfold, you know, and what does that do if that's like your person, your friend, your family member, whatever, that's, you know, been convicted of this? Like, what kind of feelings does that conjure up?
Okay, so this is Erin Patterson's friend, Ali. So this has been Erin Patterson's sole supporter throughout all of this. So Erin Patterson doesn't really have any family left, really. A lot of them have passed away, but this one loyal friend, Ali, has attended court every single day. We can tell you now that quite often when the jury wasn't in the room, Ali would go up to the dock and she would go up and share a few words with Erin Patterson. They would share in short conversation. And as Penny just told us before, as soon as those verdicts were handed down, Ali went up to Erin Patterson and told her, I will see you very soon. So remarkable to see. Like, I remember at the time when we were covering this trial, Erin Patterson was always described as being quite aloof and quite a loner, but even in the midst of all this, she still has one loyal friend who has stood by her side despite those murder allegations. And now she has just left court knowing that her friend who she supported throughout all of this is a triple murderer.
Fascinating. And just like that, you know, saw the friend, she looks distressed. And, you know, I'm not sure about the friend. I would be curious to know, did the friend come before or after the convictions? Like, was this Erin's friend beforehand, or did she seek Erin out and then start coming as a supporter? You know, it's very similar to Suitcase Sarah, who had the friend, I do believe that she has since passed or whatever, that was a big supporter of her, so on and so forth. And I feel like this could possibly be that too. Okay, now, next, let's start getting into some of that evidence. So what we're going to be looking at is the CCTV video surveillance, whatever you want to call it, good Lord, from the gas station. Now remember, Erin was taking her son to a flying lesson. She should be very sick, right? So she's taking the son to there, and she said, oh, I stopped off and went to the bathroom and threw a tissue out, something, right? Keep a couple of things in mind when we watch this. Number one, she has allegedly ate the same meal. She should be very sick. Number two, she's wearing white pants, and white pants are her seemingly go-to. Okay, so I'm going to talk over it as we watch. Now remember, first of all, where she's saying she's coming to throw something away, she passes numerous garbage cans here. That's her red car out front that you see. Now see her inside, okay? So we'll see her come up in a second. Look in the kind of the bottom of the screen, you'll see her. Okay, here she comes. Now she's making her way downtown. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm just kidding. She's going to that bathroom. She's like, oh Lord, I gotta go. I gotta make it look like I'm prairie dogging. Okay, here we go. Now notice the time, okay? Look at the clock going in the top corner already. Okay, seconds. She's already out. Now, what do? Severe diarrhea? Let's look for a gas station. I don't know what they call them over there, but like sandwich, you know, to me, like a gas station sandwich. I forget what she got. Notice white breeches, no skid marks, no signs of explosive diarrhea. And she's putting some effort into this sandwich searching. Okay, she's putting in the work. She's getting down there. She's on aisle 2. She's going to the back. She's surfing through. She's got options. Okay, this is not... think about when you have had diarrhea or been sick. Okay, this is somebody who should be in the hospital along with her friends, or I'm sorry, family and friends. But we've spent more time picking out a sandwich. Now this part right here, I was like, okay, surely she's done, right? She's like, no, I gotta wash this down with something now. Let me come on over here now. Let's go. She's like, you know, y'all got any of them bear claws here? Y'all got some bear claws? Twinkies? Where's that at? I'm talking putting in some work over this meal. She said, now, this might be these bear claws down here now. She's like, at least some chips or something. I mean, come on now. Now she's off camera for a minute. People going to the bath. Nobody's coming out talking about bathrooms all blown up. Here she is. She's like, okay, I got it. She's like, I got it. Yep. Here we go. Now again, is she walking in any kind of certain way that somebody might? No, absolutely not. No, we're just doing our thing. She might even be up there talking about, let me get one of these bite-sized Reese's too. But again, this is somewhat, so if you think about when you've had diarrhea, okay, you would have already been running back to that bathroom. I mean, I know I'm kind of being dramatic, but like, you're not no. White pants, the white pants is a telltale sign. Okay, so now we're going to follow her out. She's like, I have to go to the car. I can't do an Australian accent. I've tried. It just doesn't, it comes out more British. Like, here she goes. Just trudging off to that car. She's like, here we go, I have the sandwiches. Here we go. Yep, there we go. Off to the flying lessons. She's in there just ripping that package open. You know it. That right there, huge red flag. Because remember, imagine the jury, right? Imagine the jury watching this and being like, okay, well, we've already seen that people are dying in the hospital. She's wearing white breeches, getting a gas station sandwich, putting some effort into it, ran to the bathroom for how long? She said she was throwing something. Like, remember, she said, I had to stop off and go on the side of the road and, you know, whatever. And so she threw some tissues away in the bathroom or something. And it's like, but you passed all this stuff. You went in to get some food, right? No, we're not buying it. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna watch, huge, major, big time, okay? And this is the CCTV footage of her trying to leave the hospital. I'm saying her trying to and leaving against medical advice, okay? So we're gonna watch that, and again, pay attention to body language, pay attention to white breeches, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so here's the emergency, or not the emergency, but like the door's out. Okay, here comes Erin. She's like, I want to leave. I want to leave now. And this lady's like, girl, you gotta stay. Girl, you had that death cap. I'm leaving. Girl, you can't be going. I want to leave. I have dogs, I have children. Get me out of here. I need to put on different white breeches. And the other one's like, we're begging you to not leave. Now, here's the other thing too to keep in mind. So they already know, right? Because we're going to hear from the doctor who's like, oh, I immediately knew this is really, really bad. While it's also medical advice, they also are aware that she probably is the one who tried to kill, or who killed her guest. They all, obviously people are just sick at this point, but they know something very sinister has taken place at her hands. Now look at the way she's just standing there. Again, now keep this in mind. Her family members are dying right alongside this. No skid marks on those white breeches. I know that sounds gross, but I mean, I'm literally not being dramatic. I think if you had the sickness that she did at this point, you would literally be in an explosive situation. She's just casually standing there. Like anyone could tell you, there's no way you ate the same food. She's like, let me sign the form. Here we go. I don't trust you medical doctors. Remember when she's on the stand talking about, I don't trust, now I know I should trust them to do their jobs or whatever. Yeah. She's signing away. She's probably like, and furthermore, I want to file a complaint. I'd like to speak to management. She's like, okay, there you go. We want you to come back. They did not want her to leave. Now, I would have been more nervous about leaving personally. So yeah, again, remember, you're the jury, you're watching this, you're seeing this, you know that her family members are dying, and she's in here with a little bit of attitude with that hand motion, right? That, poof, poof, you know, whatever she's doing, I want to leave, I want to do this, and then walks out, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the audio recording of the phone call, the 000 call, which is like their equivalent of our 911, that the doctor made. Now he will go on a speaking trial, do a separate video on him, because he's come out saying, I instantly knew she was guilty. The second she said she got these mushrooms at Woolworths, nope. And he just basically was like, I'm done with her. I have to save these people's lives, but she probably intentionally tried to kill these people, right? So that's what's going on behind the scenes of this. But let's listen to that. I'm sorry, I keep calling it 911, but it's 000. And if I do that wrong, I apologize. My brain's just so dialed into 911. Okay, so let's play this and listen to it.
Emergency services. Hi, 4053. Thanks, Telstra. Hello, what address do you need the police?
This is Dr. Chris Webster calling from Leongatha Hospital, and I have a concern regarding a patient that presented here earlier but has left the building and is potentially exposed to a fatal toxin from mushroom poisoning, and I've tried several times to get hold of her on her mobile phone.
So, before I get all that information in, what address do you need the police to attend, Dr. Chris?
Yeah, should I give the hospital address or the address of the patient?
If you know where they are, their address.
I have the address of the patient.
Yeah, go ahead with that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's pause here real quick. So again, do a separate video on this or whatever, but you hear him, I've tried calling, I've tried doing this. Imagine being the jury, you're watching this, you've seen this other evidence, and then you have a doctor who is this concerned. I've tried calling multiple times. Now, he'll also say, once he realized children were in the mix, because Erin didn't tell him about the kids originally, right? And these are little tidbits that we like, and when I say we, like, for those of us who were not attending, being there, seeing the doctor on the stand, seeing Erin, like, these are just little nuggets that you kind of in textures that you just miss out on. Hearing this right here, the doctor doing all this, oh please. Like for me, I'm like, and I'm not trying to like undermine the jury, like say they're unprofessional or whatever, but I'm being dramatic when I say this, but I'm like, oh honey, if this is all out by day 2, I'm like, y'all, we can go on back to that room right there and deliberate. Okay, don't need to hear anymore. Okay, I've seen what I needed to see. I've heard what I needed to hear. Let's keep going.
It's Leongatha. Leongatha 3953.
Thank you. So, nearest intersection is that correct?
I'd have to get Google Maps up, but yes, I would say that sounds right. That sounds like a street in Leongatha. Yep.
What's her name?
So the last name is Patterson, Patterson.
First name?
Erin, Erin.
Do you have a date of birth?
30th of September, 1974.
When did she present at hospital?
At 8:05
Today?
Yeah.
Mushroom poisoning, you said?
Yeah, so there were 5 people that ate a meal on Saturday, and 2 of them are in intensive care at Dandenong Hospital. 2 have just been transferred from Leongatha Hospital to Dandenong Hospital, and Erin presented this morning with symptoms of poisoning.
Bear with me. And what happened when she presented? She just got up and left?
No, there was time for the nurse to begin observations, and I was managing the other critically unwell patient, so I had a brief chat to her about where the mushrooms were obtained, and after that, while I was attending the other patients, the nurse informed me that she had discharged herself against medical advice. So I don't know exactly. Oh, we've got a form here. Hang on, let's tell me what time she left. No, it doesn't have a time. She left at. So she left at 10 past. She was only here for 5 minutes.
See, she was only here for 5 minutes. I mean, And you heard the doctor. Now, again, in his video where he talks about where he's like, when he asked her where she got them, and she said Woolworths. And even him, he said this, where he was like, it wasn't like, she was like, oh, I've been foraging and I foraged them and blah, blah, blah. Again, if she had just, and I'm not trying to sit here and come up with a way that she could have gotten away with it, but if she had literally gone with the whole narrative of I foraged them and I guess I didn't know what I was doing, or I must have somehow picked the wrong one, something, we would probably all be in a very different place right now. And I don't know how the Australian court systems work, but if they were like, if they went for the route of, oh, this was an accident, almost like that involuntary manslaughter like we have over here, the varying degrees of it, I feel like she could have gotten something like that, right? But she's very sloppy, okay? She's very sloppy. I do think that she probably, and again, I'm not a therapist, doctor, I'm not trying to say this in any kind of official way, but I just feel like seeing what we've seen of her and learning what we've learned of her, like there is a level of evilness, but there's also a level of like brokenness. And I think that those two things combined are why we're at where we're at, because I think the brokenness and maybe like the emotional outbursts and things of this nature adds into the craziness and the why would you do that aspect of the trial, and the evil hurt part is the part that killed these people, right? And the two combined. But again, hearing the doctor say all that, and he was being very cool, like, you know, you got to be careful what you say, right? He wasn't telling this person like, oh yeah, she could totally kill these people and blah, blah, blah. Like he was being very preserving of, you know, whatever at this stage. But again, you know, people see, there is such a thing as sixth sense. You know, I'm not trying to say it's right every time, but people get a vibe. And that's just simple as that. People get a vibe, right? So let's go on to the next thing. Okay, now this next thing that we're going to watch, y'all, if you follow me in the live chat channel, you're probably like, oh, here we go. Okay, now I've heard from some of you that you're like, oh, this is a tabloidish type, you know, report or whatever. Take it as a grain of, like with a grain of salt, or however you say that. But this is like an update on some drama behind bars from Erin. Buckle your seatbelt. I'm fastening up right now because I damn near fell off the sofa. All systems go. Let's begin. I should actually wear it like a little Girl Scout thing or a Boy Scout thing. I've got my flair. I'm ready to serve at TGIF. I've got my flair.
As we come back to you, we're going to return to our lead story on Erin Patterson's guilty verdict over the triple mushroom murders. Let's go live to 9 Mimi Becker at the maximum security prison where Erin is being taken. Mimi, Patterson is on the move.
She is, Pete. Erin Patterson left Morwell Police Station around an hour ago, and she is expected to arrive here at the maximum security prison at 7:30 tonight. Now, Patterson is very familiar with these facilities. She has been behind bars since November 2023. But tonight we can reveal in 9 News that Erin Patterson has been a cook at this prison, and she also has been accused of tampering with other prisoners' food. While an investigation took place here at the prison, Erin Patterson was put in solitary confinement, but no further action has been taken. As I say, she is familiar with this prison, but tonight security guards will be keeping an extra close eye on her as she spends her first night behind bars as a convicted killer. Pete?
Mimi.
You heard it right. She has been working in the kitchen and has done something to mess with people's food. Now, do we know if this is true? I do not know, right? So let's just do this as sofa speculation. But even if it is slanderous, I mean, that was good. Right, that was good. That was good. And side note on this, okay, so we're watching this on the podcast channel, and I had the slideshow of this, and the title of this one was Piping Hot Tea. Okay, so when I went back to chop the video up to like come here and do this or whatever, and I went down to that, because when we first showed it on the podcast channel, I was like, why? I thought this is a video about her getting burned with tea or something, because I was like, oh, maybe she burnt herself with tea. She's already trying to do something crazy in jail or whatever. It was only until I came back the next day or yesterday, whenever it was, and was like, piping hot tea, gossip. You would think I would know that. Okay, like that's just, I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes. So I was like, oh, it's not a video about Erin getting burned with tea, although we did, right? We got 3rd-degree burns from the tea of this one. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, let's continue to get some piping hot 3rd-degree tea burns, right? Okay, so we're gonna look at some of the pictures of the evidence. Okay, now, if you're already like, so, you know, I like to look at these from the perspective of if we're a jury member. So if you're like, I don't know, Paul, verdict's still out for me. You know, let's see some photographic evidence. Let's see some of that talk, okay? Well, we're about to go look at it. Okay, so the first thing is, we've already gone over this one, but this is the book. This is the cookbook where she got this. Now, I have heard at this point that the cook did speak out and was like sad that Erin used her recipe to kill people. Obviously, any of us would be, right? Now, another very haunting one to me is the scene of the crime. You'll see here, this is Erin's kitchen, and to think that they were all sitting there. Now, apparently, I believe if you're looking at it, Erin was sitting on the right side of the table closest to us, and the other people were sitting, obviously around the table or whatever. But to think that they were sitting there and talking and going over this conversation, and she knew exactly what was taking place and probably enjoyed watching them and all the things that were going to happen, it's just absolutely frightening. Now, next, let's look at this. So on this one, we're back at the table again. As you'll see here, it says, the photos were a week after the lethal luncheon. In this photo, she is handing over a phone to the investigator. So again, he's sitting there where she was. She's sitting there. She knows this is the table where the crime took place. She's giving him that fake burner phone. Now, remember, there's the footage of her at the hospital with her real phone, which they were never able to recover. So, yeah. On that note, let's take a look at the actual evidence here. These are from Daily Mail, and this is that beef Wellington that they got out of the garbage. So there it is. I mean, this is what she killed these people with, right? It's so gross and scientific looking. I mean, obviously it's old food at this point, but it's like, it just seems so, like you can feel the poison in the pictures. You know what I'm saying? Okay, next I'm going to put up the conversations, the Signal private messenger conversations with Don and Gail. So at the top, you'll hear it say, sorry to hear about your back problems. Hope and pray it gets better quickly. It was great to chat with the kids this morning. When Gail had a troublesome back, the physio told her to roll up a towel like a thick sausage and use it to support her lower back while in the car and while sitting down at home. Not sure where your problem is, but maybe it could help you. Now the next one says, hi Don, thanks for your empathy and care about my back. Yes, I had a terrible day yesterday and the night before. I heard something snap in my lower back while lifting a suitcase, and then I was in agony for 24 hours. And then, just as suddenly as it had happened, it righted itself after lots of tears and prayers. So the kids and I think we saw a Christmas miracle because it was an instant thing, like somebody clicked their fingers. Normally when I put my back out, I'm horizontal for 3 days. So I was very worried about how I was going to manage the children and the driving. God helped me for sure. Thank you for the tip about the rolled up towel. I shoved a folded jumper down there when I drove today, but a towel would be much better. I found that gentle, regular stretching seems to help too. The next one, thank you God. It's wonderful that you and the kids got to see a Christmas miracle. We will keep praying that he keeps you in good health. Love, Don and Gail. And then, hi Erin, how's your back today? How'd the trip go? And then that was it. So here's the thing too. Number one, I mean, you can't really believe much of anything she says. It's like, did she really hurt her back? But number two, also the hamming things up. Notice how she just has this like, thank you for the empathy, kind of a thing. It's like it's this weird way of talking. I don't know. It's just very odd. But also in this, you see how caring Dawn, Gail, like they all seem to be towards her, right? That part is heartbreaking because clearly she put them in this situation, right? And so whatever fears she might have had of being abandoned by these people, leaving, whatever, it's just, I don't feel like these are the type of people that would have done that even if her and Simon were gone. I feel like they would have remained there as long as she didn't get weird, right? And I think that would have been a hard thing for her not to, like, she would have a hard time not being weird, if that makes sense. Okay, now next I'm going to put those text messages up here. We've gone over these before, but we're just going to go over them here again one more time. So this is between Simon and Erin, and this is when he's backing out of the deadly luncheon. So it says, sorry, I feel too uncomfortable about coming to the lunch with you, Mom, Dad, Heather, and Ian tomorrow, but I'm happy to talk about your health and implications of this at another time if you'd like to discuss on the phone. Just let me know. Then Erin says, that's really disappointing. I've spent many hours this week preparing lunch for tomorrow, which has been exhausting in light of the issues I'm facing, and spent a small fortune on beef eye fillet to make beef Wellingtons because I wanted it to be a special meal, as I may not be able to host a lunch like this again for some time. It's important to me that you're all there tomorrow and that I can have the conversations that I need to have. I hope you'll change your mind. Your parents and Heather and Ian are coming at 12:30. I hope to see you there. Now you see the manipulation going on here. I've spent money, I've done all this work, we have to have conversations, this, that, and the other. Now we've learned that this is very abnormal for her to have people over. We've also learned that it's very normal for her to triangulate Simon, his parents, and other people and pull them in and shame him and do these things. So I'm sure for Simon, this was like bing, 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 bing. Why are all these people going to be there? Why is my family going to be there? I am staying 10 feet away. I will have the conversation. I will do this. Now, also we've learned, and I'll do this in like a separate video because there's so much keeps coming out or whatever. whatever. But some of these attempted murder things that Erin did to Simon with poisoning him did not make their way into the court, into the trial. So there's multiple times that she tried to kill him via poisoning, to the point that he raised red flags about it, mentioned it and whatnot. And we had this conversation on the podcast channel of, why wouldn't he say something? But at the end of the day, I also believe, meaning why wouldn't he say something to them like, hey, y'all remember the whole antifreeze thing? Like, do y'all really want to go there? But at the end of the day, people often, even in these situations, you're not thinking that someone's going to kill you and your whole family, right? This is your estranged wife, the mother of your kids. She might have done some stuff, but the whole family, you're just not thinking it. In these circumstances here, there might be other ones, sure. And who knows what kind of conversations they have behind the scenes. And it also sounds like the group of people basically just wanted to kind of keep up appearances in this way. No, let's go. Don't bring up that food poisoning thing. Like what? Not for this specific event here, but just in the past and whatnot. Very forgiving people, giving her the benefit of the doubt, that type thing. And so again, that's why I stand by, she's like all upset about, I don't have my parents and they were the closest thing to this and that, but then she killed them, right? It's just evil. Now remember the thing we looked at a minute ago where she was leaving the hospital and the doctor and all that type stuff? Well, this is the discharge form. So this is where, you see her sign. This is via the Guardian. So you see it says, Erin Patterson, I am leaving from this hospital at my own responsibility against the advice of medical officer, senior nursing staff. And then it's just, it's signed off, the date, the whole 9 yards. So there's the proof there for barely even, 5 minutes they said. So now let's look at the actual murder weapon, or one of them. Okay, so on the screen you see the bloody dehydrator and then Erin's Facebook photo. So this would be the weapon, the thing that she used. We'll look at a picture of the death cap mushrooms in it next. She would dispose of this. We'll see pictures of her doing that in a minute. And she would keep the instruction manual though. So this is where she was very sloppy, right? And obviously she had posted pictures of it everywhere. So it's like, this was no secret. Now let's look at the next page here. So this is some of those death cap mushrooms. It just looks like poison. Looks like poison. I don't know if I'll ever be able to eat mushrooms again. I don't even know if I've had beef Wellington in my life, but certainly not at this point, right? It's just, when I think of it, I immediately think of an upset stomach and poison. Now, the next thing, here we are. This is via The Guardian as well as ABC Australia. This is her car at the tip. It is plain, there is no doubt this is Erin with her car, with her white pants, with no skid marks, and that is 100% the same exact dehydrator, right? Now she would say, oh, I got nervous, I got this. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. I mean, she got nervous that she was gonna get caught, but not that it was like an accident. And when Simon said, is that the dehydrator you used to kill my parents? I mean, whether we can prove that took place or not, right? I mean, please. So this is the biggest piece of evidence I want to go over for this video, right? As things come out and other things and whatnot, we'll go over them. So again, just these here, seeing these alone, I was like, oh, change my perspective immediately. I was like, yeah, no, any doubts that I had of like, was she just wanted to make them sick or that? I think 100% she wanted these people dead. I think she wanted Simon dead too. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if she had gotten away with this, I will just put it this way. I very much fear for what could have taken place for the children later on in life if desperate times came up, right? I don't know if she did this, if it was a monetary thing. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like there's other things at play, but maybe that could have been a side thing. We saw from the evidence where she was just kind of over everybody, right? It's like she was loaning money, doing this, and oh, this family, I can't, and blah, 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 blah. And this could have been her ultimate revenge. Maybe she didn't care enough about herself to be like, I don't care if I get caught. No, I'll go to prison. I don't care. Because I don't, that's the only clincher to it is I'm like, how would you ever think you were going to get away with this, right? There's no way. So anyways, let me know what you think. What was your favorite piece of evidence? Or I shouldn't say favorite, but like most damning evidence that you're like, what? And that's it. So while you're down in the comment section, if you could please drop some little sofa soft and some little weird pillows for myself, Roscoe and Spirit, Bo and Luke, and you, the Sofa Squad. So I'll have a place to hang out and talk about Erin, Tiffany, all the crazy cases we talk about here at the Sofa Squad. And until we gather down in the comment section to do all that, I'll see y'all soon.
I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Ross go on the Instagram. Go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.